Well, good morning, everybody. It's September 11th, it's hard to say those words without thinking back to that tragedy so many years ago. Um, and I just want to take a second here to think about all those lives lost. Well, yeah, it's September 11th, 2024, and I'm still in Eagle Nest, New Mexico. I got up late this morning. I slept in. I really slept in. I haven't done that in a long time. It's 7:26, and it's still, temperature's coming up. It's 42 outside, 70 inside. There's Dottie back there. She's a little bit more active than usual because look at the sun streaming in. And the sun is outside, and I can see the beautiful lake, and it's great. So let's get going with these. I'm hesitating a little because I was thinking last night there's something I want to say at the beginning of the comments thing. I lost it. I don't know what it was, and that fits in with the long form video that was done yesterday, and it was titled "You Might Be an RVer Over 60 If," and I got a new one. If you wanted to say something on YouTube and you were convinced I'm going to say that in my video and you totally forget what the heck you're talking about. I'm glad I did that. I was a little nervous about doing that video. A friend of mine said, "Hey, are you sure you want to do that? You might alienate people. People might find it insulting talking about aging things, and people don't like to feel their age." And I said, "I don't know. I did a short, and people seem to be okay with it. And I get some comfort when people my age talk about normalize the things that I'm experiencing, and there's a little humor in it, and it's okay." And I think it'll make it. I think it'll be better. It'll make it better between you guys and myself. And I think it did. I said, there's a couple of levels of commenting. There's, how many comments do you get, right? And the other one is, how deeply do people go when they comment? When someone comments and you've got a couple of paragraphs, I say to myself, I goes, whoa, stop. Before I even read this, someone has really taken some time and effort to reach out to me. This is special. Pay attention to what they're saying. So anyway, we got a couple of those. They're good. So we got the comments video. I am experimenting with releasing the long form. So I do a positive news short, a comment video, and then a regular long form every day, 3. And I've been releasing them all at the same time in the morning when everything's uploaded. So in the powers that be at YouTube and all the advisors say, there's a time that's beneficial, and for me, and it depends on when your subscribers are on, and it says 3:00. So I said, well, some say that'll make a difference, some say it doesn't. I don't know. It's so easy though when you go to publish to pick a time. It's fire and forget. So I released at 3:00. And I think it did. It did pretty well. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at it. Let's open a new page here and look at. You might be over 60 if it's got over 300 views, and that's not as good as egg run and e-bike crash. That's not as good as that. Let's see. Do we have any dislikes on it? No dislikes. 55 likes, 24 comments, 307 views. You know what? I don't think it made any difference. I really don't. I really don't think it made any difference. So I'm just gonna publish everything when it's done and be done with it. You know, as I'm hearing myself say this stuff out loud, by the way, as a therapist, I can tell you, talking to yourself out loud can be a really therapeutic thing, because sometimes when you hear the words outside your head, you hear them differently. And when I heard myself say I get this therapy every morning with you guys. When I heard myself say that, I said, you know, when you're like down to the level of concerning yourself of timing of release of your videos to maximize the number of views, and what are we talking about here in the revenue, right? It's like we're getting away from why we're doing this, because the more you get, the more I get towards tweaking and manipulating things to get more statistical and financial success, the more it's going to start turning into a job, and it's not going to be fun anymore. So hearing my voice say that out loud, it was good. And I know you'll talk to yourselves. Just do it more. It's good for you. I need to put that as an essential nomad skill, the ability to talk out loud to yourself on a regular basis. It's a good one. Okay. I got lost already. Have I read any comments? No. Not a single one. 6 minutes and 47 seconds into the video and I haven't read a comment. Nancy Manderos. I have a short out there. And by the way, I'm firing out a bunch of shorts. Just not thinking about it, firing them out. So there'll be comments on random shorts. And this is one. Been out a couple of days. It was just on a little hailstorm outside the rig. Nancy says big drops. Your comments. The comment video. M. Campbell says, the James Hotel. Don't feel bad as an artist. Campbell's, here, I keep saying he, she. I'm imagining a she, but absolutely could be. Don't feel bad. As an artist, I can tell you that people are not the best judge of their potential popularity of their own work. To explain that, I was baffled that I did this. It took me 2 days of traveling to the St. James Hotel and trying to convince them to let me film and interview, and a lot of editing. I just loved this video, and I put it out the same time as my regular comment video, and the comment video beat it. It was more popular. I was like, what? She says, I can put heart and soul into a painting, and the reception is meh. Yet the painting I slapped together quickly is popular. It doesn't mean the work isn't good. It just means there's no accounting for taste. There is nothing new. De gustibus non est disputantum. It's Latin, and I pronounced it terribly. Can I try it again? De gustibus non est disputandum. Disputandum is Latin and translates, in matters of taste, there can be no disputes. It is found in writings as early as 1628. I imagine even cave artists had the same problem. And I take that to my interpretation of that is that taste is an individual thing that cannot be wrong or right. And it is the taste of a group of people is something that is sought after, right? Movies, they put together a movie, and what are they doing? They're trying to appeal to a taste of a huge group of people, and sometimes they have blockbuster movies, and they're right, and it was great, and more often they have just dismal failures because they can't account for ahead of time someone's taste. That's a great comment. Gold Race 10. When you think about 286 a night, I think that so the topic is the LTVA increases. think about 286 a night is worth it not to get the knock on the door at midnight. For those of you who don't know the nomad lifestyle, if you park someplace where you're technically maybe not supposed to be, or you're not sure you're supposed to be, and that means someplace that isn't a designated place to spend the night in your RV or car or whatever, the knock on the door means you're the cops, 2 o'clock in the morning, you can't sleep here, you need to move. That's the dreaded knock on the door. When you think about 286 a night, it's worth not to get the knock on the door at midnight. Your best deal is $80 a month and not to pay the full 7 months. How about people, many people really stay at the full 7 months anyway. That gives you an option every month. $80, easier to come up with once a month. And if you just stay December through April, it would be $400. So I think that's, I might have misunderstood a little on that. I think Gold Race is talking about the current rates, because let me think about that. December to April, so December, January, February, April, that's 4 months. That would be 320. 8 times 4 is 320. He's talking about current rates, I think, because currently it's $40 every 2 weeks. So that would be $80 a month, right? In 4 months would be $320. That wouldn't make a lot of sense if he's talking about today's rates, because you can pay $180 for the same time period, save money. So I needed to correct maybe some misunderstandings. So I said it's $200 a month in the proposal, unfortunately. So maybe a little misunderstanding there, I'm not sure. But doing the monthly rate, when you hit 3 months, you're going to hit the new 600. So if you stay more than 3 months, you're going to be 3 months or more, you're going to be better off paying the 600. There was a virtual meeting for the BLM yesterday, and I signed up for it. I had a reservation, and I went into the beginning of it, and it was exact same time as the presidential debate, and I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. I watched the presidential debate. Let's not comment on the presidential debate. The intent is to talk about the meeting. One of the first things I noticed is in the beginning of the meeting, only like 10 of us in there. I said, well, people must be late. But then I heard someone comment this morning, they said, yeah, I was at the meeting. It was hardly anybody went to it. That's not a real good sign. A lot of outrage online, but people didn't follow through and go to the meeting. There's more than one. Maybe I think there's another one today. Maybe it'll be better attended. Did I have a point? Dottie, did I have a point? She doesn't know. She's not helpful. So my short was med tech that could save your life. It was Caltech came up, invented a device that does blood pressure in a very unique, much more accurate way than your typical, they're called sphygmometers, those blood pressure cuffs. They go then listen, and they have machines that do it. But it's actually very crude. You have blood pressure that is continuous in your body and comes in waves, right? Because your heartbeat creates waves of pressure, every heartbeat. So there's a peak to the wave, that's the top number, and then there's the bottom of the wave, that's when the heart releases and the pressure goes down. So the pressure goes down and up throughout your whole body. Here. Your pressure goes up and down with every heartbeat. And the pressures that occur between the peak and the trough are just as, how fast does it go back? How fast does it drop? At what rate? And these things to medical doctors and professionals are of particular interest, especially when treating certain disease processes, cardiac deformities, all kinds of things. And in the hospital, like you're in intensive care, to measure that, which they do, trust me, they put something inside you to be able to measure that pressure. right? They put something physically inside your body. They put a line in to measure real blood pressure. And this one is revolutionary. It does it externally. But more than that, I talk about all the other things that you're hearing about whispering, like watches that measure your heart rate, then watches that measure not just your heart rate, but your heart rhythms. So it can tell, hey, is this person experiencing at this moment regular sinus rhythm, which is normal heartbeat? Or is it tachycardia or bradycardia? Those two are easy. It's just counting, right? Tachycardia is a heart rate more than 100 beats per minute. Bradycardia is below 60 beats per minute. And there can be good reasons to have tachycardia or bradycardia, but then, especially if you have tachycardia when you're not exerting yourself or not super upset about something, it could be a sign of something else is wrong. Your heart rate gets too much below 60 for no good reasons. There are medications designed to lower your heart rate for blood pressure. So those can be signs that you may not notice, but your watch will. And also the latest one is there are many heart rhythms, right? I was a paramedic and I had to learn this stuff. It's tough to learn. They're heart rhythms that are the signs of heart dysfunction. And a common one is called referred to as AFib, and it's short for atrial fibrillation. And that is a dysfunction in the heart of in the heartbeats, there's a vibration in the heart muscle that creates I think it's a irregular heartbeat. And it's actually distinctive. I've picked up a lot of people by ambulance with that condition, and if you feel the pulse of someone in AFib and you do it enough, you can recognize it. It's like I had a guy that my teacher when I was a paramedic, he could do this and go, you got AFib, and he'd be right every time. Didn't even need to put a machine on him. But the watches can detect that and let you know that there's a problem, and your doctor's going to look at it and go, yeah, there's a problem. I'm going to dive just a little bit deeper because I find it fascinating. They say AFib increases the risk of stroke. Really? Because stroke is usually either a bleed in a blood vessel or a blockage in a blood vessel in your brain. What's that got to do with your heart beating funny? Well, actually what it does is in the upper chamber of the heart, and that's the chamber generally that's doing sort of a little bit of vibrating. Well, and it's not very efficient at pumping the blood out. Efficient is the top chamber closes completely and pushes out all the blood and reopens and refills. Perfect. AFib, it's not so efficient. So blood sort of gathers in the lower chamber of the upper parts of the heart. And over time, they start a clotting process. And how blood sort of, well, this is a little gross if you think about a lot of blood, but how when it dries, it first becomes sticky, right? Viscous and skippy, and then it dries up, and then it kind of flakes like a scab, right? Think about a scab. And eventually the scab, pieces of it break away, right? And there's no more scab. I had a scab on I think it's gone. It's a little red mark, but the scab is just in the wind. A similar process occurs in the heart where pieces of that clot break off and they go into the bloodstream and they go to the brain and may create a blockage in a blood vessel and create a stroke. So that's a big risk with people that have atrial fibrillation. Now there are medications that you can take to improve that heartbeat to try to correct the AFib, and also they generally take a blood thinner. Right? They take a blood thinner along with that as a preventative measure to have blood thinners in your bloodstream on a daily basis to attack those little tiny clotted pieces that are occasionally coming out of the heart, some of them making their way all the way to blood vessels in your brain. So that's what you get for having a YouTuber that used to be a fascinated paramedic. So to call that time to tell you what the other video was. And here, let's read some comments on it. That's what we're doing here. I'm already at 20 minutes. M. Campbell, an appalling number of medical professionals don't take blood pressure correctly. My pet peeve is the odd nurse who insists on pumping up the cuff to the point of significant pain. How accurate is the reading going to be when the patient is gritting their teeth in pain? If this invention did nothing but stop that, then it's worthwhile. Yeah, there's a little bit of skill there. You know, as a paramedic, I had to learn how to take a blood pressure properly. So what you're looking for two numbers when you basically, the cuff goes around you and there's a little ball on the end and they pump it up. But the other thing you might notice, they have a stethoscope and they have the head of the stethoscope here. So what they're trying to do is pump it up tight enough so it restricts all blood flow so you can't hear anything through that. You get just above where you're stopping the blood flow, and then there's a little dial by that bulb, and you slowly start releasing the pressure. And you're listening, and there's a little dial that shows the pressure. So let's say I blow it up to 200, which is what this nurse is doing to make it. Squeezing your arm, it's painful. 200, and you're letting air out, and you're watching that dial, and you're listening, and the second you hear the heartbeat, you look down and you see what that needle says. It says 140, right? And it'll kind of do this a little bit as it's going down because it's detecting the flow of blood, right? And then you keep listening, and it's going down, and it's kind of bumping like this. And then you're listening for when you can't, the heartbeat goes away. And you look down, and it's 86. And the needle just, that's the lower number. That's how blood pressure's taken. But some people get lazy, and they pump it up. I'm going to make sure there's no blood coming through your arm. So I'm going to pump it up so high, there's a virtual certainty there's no blood flowing, and that hurts. So the nurse really doesn't care about your comfort or doesn't know any better. Okay. Robert Burns. Anybody had enough medical talk? Sorry. Robert Burns on the comment video. I enjoyed your video and the story of the ghost. Doc Holliday's story is very interesting. He was accused of murder and he fled to Colorado, and the governor refused to accept the warrant for his arrest. Let's see. The hailstorm short looks beautiful, though. Take care and be safe. That was Rosa Burgos. Lisa Roth. Hello, Lisa. Lisa's going to jump in on the medicine stuff because we think alike. I think this is definitely positive. My experience with having blood pressure taken is similar to M. Campbell's, only with machines rather than medical professionals. Patients are nervous already. They don't need the situation made worse. If they can monitor without causing pain, big plus in my book. And there's here I go again. It's like Ronald Reagan in that debate. Here he goes again. There's a thing called white coat syndrome in blood pressure measurement. Dottie's going after a fly, if you wondered what that was. She eats flies for breakfast. She got one. Good job, Dottie. White coat syndrome, where just the anxiety of being in a medical office raises your blood pressure. I have a little bit of that. I got that going for me. White coat syndrome. It's when doctors used to wear white coats. When was the last time you saw that outside of a hospital? Judy. Hey, Judy. It's funny. Judy and Lisa are very close friends, and they will camp next to each other for certain in quartzsite, and I camped with them last year, right next to each other, little compound, buddies. They post next to each other here. They're not camping together. They're on different places in the country, yet they end up posting together. It's so funny. And it's not like at the same time. It's an hour apart. Judy says, when I traveled in 2015, I looked into affordable insurance. They wanted $300 a month. I could not afford that on $1,200 per month Social Security. And she's talking about, I guess, getting Social Security before age 65. So you got to get private insurance, right? When they started all that, Medicaid and Medicare, they already in place. They could have been reinvented to give us national health care system. But again, the insurance companies got into the mix, and here we are, just my opinion. Yeah, it's expensive, and you don't, and I'm betting even for $300 a month back in 2015, that was probably catastrophic insurance as I define it, meaning that you're not going to get, you're going to have a big deductible, right? Stephen Gashi, I enjoyed the history of St. James Hotel. Can't help thinking that Ghost Story would have made a hit on Art Bell's radio program. Especially if you got somebody interviewed that had a series of experiences with the ghost. Naj on the comment video. Wow, that's a great service. Your previous job. Hey, this is what I wanted. That's the thing I forgot. So if you watched yesterday's and was able, for some odd reason, you had enough time to go all the way through it. In the last 15 minutes, I talked about my retirement job. I got onto a tangent, and my retirement job was emergency mental health services in Fairfax County, Virginia. And I just thought the programs and what they had to offer the community was just stunningly amazing and great, and should be a model for the entire country. I love it so much. And so I went on for 15 minutes. And the last thing I talked about is a special program. I got involved in a pilot program called the Crisis Response Team, or community response team. And I was partnered with a paramedic, and the two of us were out in a vehicle, and we were dealing with people that called 911 frequently and had to rely on 911 frequently for mental health and medical reasons. And we were out there trying to find something different that they can do and get some stability and maybe some joy in their life. And it was so much fun, and I loved working with my buddy Shane. And so I didn't call him out by name yesterday, but I am today, because after I've been retired from there, it'll be 3 years in December. And guess who called me yesterday? Not because he saw the video, because he's just, hey man, I'm retiring from the team, and I've been thinking a lot about you. And I said, you're not going to believe I just posted a video about what we do. Things like that happen for a reason. Then I find out, get this. So Shane is a hockey player. He's a firefighter paramedic for Fairfax County. And he's also a hockey player. And he said, I don't know, I can't keep track of where you are, but I don't know, this is a long shot, but I'm going to be in Las Vegas in October playing hockey. And I said, Shane, I'm going to be in Pahrump all in October. I can be in Vegas in like 48 minutes. He said, what? I said, yeah, we're going to see each other 100%. We're going to have dinner, and I'm going to have to watch one of your hockey games. So we're going to get together. So that's great. So why don't I read the comment like I'm supposed to? Nash says, wow, what a great service. Your previous job. More cities should follow that example. I find the bigger the city, the worse the community services are. Big cities don't seem to care for their citizens as much as small towns do. That's why I like small town people who live like one family. Well, I did say Fairfax County is often listed among the wealthiest in the U.S. with a population of over 1 million. I said it's a big place, amazing services. So I hear what you're saying. I think the general statement that people maybe care more about their neighbors in a small town, I think that's probably largely true. But being able to afford the kinds of services that I was describing, like having a walk-in clinic that has you can see us walk in and see in crisis and see a psychiatrist like at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's expensive. And it takes a big city or big state funding to do that. So it's really a struggle to get that level of service in small communities. I wish that there was, though. Certainly they could do something virtual at the state level. Virtual it's okay, but it's not ideal in a crisis situation. Postcards and more. Laura. Hey, Laura. And this was good news. Hey, Rob, work for an Oregon county providing the same services you described. Had one client who misused 911 because of mental health and substance use disorders. We made progress with her at times, and the sheriff took her to jail. Challenging work, and I loved it. Good for you. She's an LCSW, and LCSW is a licensed clinical social worker. And let me tell you, when I had my big career change and I wanted to do therapy, what should I do? How do I do that? And I chose to get educated and licensed as a licensed professional counselor. Had I known what I know now, I would have attempted to get licensed instead as a licensed clinical social worker. I think there's a larger acceptance of licensed social workers. You can do the same thing. You can do a private practice. You can do anything. I worked with LCSWs, but there's more opportunities for that designation. And after my name comes the letters LPC, and it would have been nice if instead it was LCSW. So she's saying that I'm sure Laura's not kidding when she said she worked in an Oregon county, and she's like listening to me and going, yeah, we had the same thing. So we know about another place, and I asked for that. Thank you very much. Let's keep going here. Ken Gray, we switched my mother to the Advantage plan and her medical costs doubled. Yeah, Ken, I was talking about the dangers of these Advantage plans that are offered for, quote, free, with dental care and vision and drug plans and gym membership, and all of it's free. Well, nothing's free. And that started my suspicions and my specific investigation of the Medicare process, because I was about to get it. And I found out that Advantage plans are very risky. It's risky for your finances, and they're risky for your health, because it's worth repeating this for anyone that's close to my age and you're getting close to this. Do not take my word for it. Get on there, and there are tons of licensed brokers that are knowledgeable, and they do videos. Now, they're promoting their agency, but they give really good information and break it down on the choices that you have when you get Medicare. And what a lot of people don't realize, they think, okay, I'm going to turn 65. I'm going to get Medicare automatically. They're going to take the money out of my Social Security every month, and I've got a Medicare card. And this year, I think it's $175. I hear it's going up to $180, but I don't know that for sure. And I've got my insurance card, and everything's good to go. Well, one of the first disappointments when I started researching is that card doesn't cover everything. No, I'd love terminology from insurance companies. Co-insurance. Doesn't it sound friendly? It's like my insurance buddy, my co-insurance. Hey, co-insurance, how are you? Nice to meet you. Co-insurance means that I'm the insurance company. I'm gonna go, hey, buddy, whatever happens to you, don't worry. I'm gonna pay 80% of it. I got you covered 80%. And I go, well, what do you mean? But what about the other 20%? Oh, it'll be okay. You just have to pay that. Just pay that 20%. Not a problem. Oh, okay. How much can that be? Guess what? It can break you. It can destroy your finances and everything that you've worked for and earned. Because how much is an MRI? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But let's find out. Let's do some real time. How much is an MRI? And while I'm looking at that, if a doctor says, I think you should have an MRI, does that sound serious? Sounds pretty friggin' serious to me. So, there's a big range. You can get one for $400. So, I pay $80, no problem. Oh, I didn't read the whole thing. $400 to $12,000. The national average is $1,325. So it's not really $80. If I hit the national average and get lucky doing that, that's almost $300. Ooh. That's just one little test. Well, how much is a knee replacement? My buddy's just, I got 2 close friends that have knee replacements. How much is that? Oh, it's a wide range too, between $15,000 and $75,000. So if I got really lucky and they charged me $15,000, that's $3,000. If I get really unlucky at $75,000, it's $15,000. You can quickly see, well, does the knee replacement surgery include the stay in the hospital? No? That's more? And how much are they charging for the aspirin? Oh, $25 for the bottle? No, just the aspirin. I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. You're screwed with just that card. If anything goes wrong with you, the only hope that you would have is that you were healthy your entire geriatric career from 65 and you live to 95 and you 95, you die in your sleep without warning. You're good. You're covered. No claims. Not a problem. Life doesn't work that way, does it? And the more advanced we get with medical care, and it's happening fast, guys, the more things they can do, and the more things they can do to keep you alive and keep you alive longer, the more things they have to do later because you're around more and more crap's going to happen to you, and it's going to cost a fortune. So what do? You have these advertisers that say, hey, for free, you don't have to worry about that co-insurance stuff and those $25 aspirins. We got you covered. We're an Advantage plan, and it costs $0 a month. All you have to do is sign here, and we're good. You're protected. And you go, oh, okay. Whoa, I was worried there for a minute. But if I sign up, and guess what? Medicare doesn't cover vision, and they don't cover drugs. But we'll take care of you. We got you covered. We're going to cover all that stuff. And you're going to give you a free gym membership. How's that? For free. And I'm like, you hear those advertisements, and you go, holy crap. Finally, something's delivered to me as a senior citizen, and it's free, and they're giving me all this stuff. I love America. I heard that. I understood up to here, and I went, something stinks. Somebody's making money here. I know it ain't me. Let's dig into what the hell this Advantage plan is all about. So I started Googling, what exactly is behind an Advantage plan or something? So I very quickly found out Advantage plans are insurance companies that participate in a government program. And here's the government program. Medicare says, we would like to pay private insurance companies to manage the Medicare insurance, health insurance of senior citizens for us. And we will pay you a fee annually to do that. So let's say Travels with Dottie turns 65 and he's on Medicare. We will pay you $2,000 a year to manage his Medicare through your networks and your providers and your systems. Just here's the basic coverage, balls in your court, have a good time. So the insurance company sits back and says, okay, the federal government's going to give me $2,000 to manage Rob's Medicare. All right. So here's what we're hoping for, gang. We're going to hope that Rob is a healthy guy, travels with Dottie, nothing happens to him. If that happens, we hit a home run. We hit a home run this year because I'll get the couple $1,000s from Uncle Sam, and we won't have to pay out a dime to this guy because he doesn't have any claims. We make a fortune. And all we're doing, we're providing him a drug plan. He doesn't take any drugs, so who cares about that? Vision, how often is he going to need glasses? Let's roll the dice. He doesn't need any this year. We're paying nothing there. Maybe he needs one pair, a couple $100? Chicken feed. And, we've got a national contract for these memberships. National contract for a regional contract for hundreds or 1,000 members, and it's going to cost us $5, $2, $3, $4 a month. Not a problem. And we're going to rake it in, baby. Yeah. And he's thinking, I'm getting something for free. He is, because we're getting fat going to the bank. But what if he gets sick? Well, we're obligated to take care of him. We'll make sure he's taken care of. But let's set up some rules to make things reasonable for us. He's got to be in our network of providers, right? If he goes outside our network, he's going to have to pay for that. And we got to make sure these doctors are not taking advantage of us and not requesting procedures and medications that we think really aren't the right thing to do, because they're not, it's not a good standard of practice to treat whatever it is this guy has. And we're not even really sure that diagnosis is right. And they said he's got cancer and he wants to go to, he found out, he did research that the Acme skin cancer clinic is in Dayton, Ohio. Well, they're not in our network. Dude, you can go there if you want, but you're going to have to pay for most of it yourself, because we're not going to approve you going out to Akron. That's not in our network. That's not an option for you. Now you get it? The ripoff Advantage Fence? Well, there's one more option that you have. You can buy a supplement plan. You can buy from Medicare, a plan that is part of Medicare, and you just pay extra for it. And the Cadillac is called Plan G. Depending on where you are, there's no fixed monthly rate. It's anywhere from, where I'm in Nevada, I'm getting it's about $145. It's different often, man versus woman, but you get that quote and say you pay $145 a month. Also you can buy a separate drug plan, anywhere from $1 a month to $40 a month, depending on the drugs that you're on. And you can redo that drug plan annually. It's like a 1-year contract. So you're paying some serious money. All of a sudden you're going from free for an Advantage plan to, $145 plus maybe $30. You're paying for the drug plan. So I'm paying another $175 on top of the $175 that I'm paying every month out of Social Security. So suddenly we're paying a lot of money, but you get a lot, right? You still are going to deal with an insurance company with the supplement plan, but guess what? That arrangement's completely different. That arrangement, Medicare is saying, we're going to pay you just probably not thousands, but a few $100s a year to manage that patient's logistics. You don't get to approve or decline claims or tell them where they can go or who they can go or what they can do. You just process the claims and do the statements and the explanations of benefits. And we, meaning Medicare, will take care of making the decisions about the decisions with their doctors about healthcare. Traditionally, you get a free reign Medicare doctor, and you're going to get what that doctor thinks that you want, and Medicare is going to pay for it. So there's my rant for today. And I hope I only have a few more, but shit, if you're going to pull the trigger and do one of these things, for heaven's sake, don't do it based on what Rob, the travel RV guy, says. Seek out an expert. Find a licensed broker that you can trust, and beware the ones that push the advantage plans. And the word is that they pay higher commission to them. So find someone you can trust that is an expert in this, and trust what I'm saying, but verify. Trust and verify. And that Ken Gray, this was what got my rant. Said, we switched my mother to an advantage plan and her medical costs doubled. I'll bet that they did. And I bet they switched her to an advantage plan because the advantage plan made it sound so good. It gets me a little worked up. Ken has another comment on the MedTech video. I use a risk model that the cardiologist has checked the calibration on, then ordered several to his office because it was so accurate. Being able to use the waveform is a boon to all of us who now live alone. Absolutely. Dan Hardesty says, you had a very cool job. I'm jealous. That was the old job I talked about. Tom, please tell me where you got the barking device. Journey, I won't go into detail, but he has a dog named Journey and really serious barking problem. And he's, I've witnessed it. I've seen Journey, and sweet dog, but a barker. So I told him, search Amazon for bark control. You can find the thing that I bought and many others. I might be over 60. VEWNZ says I'll turn 65 this week, and I can't dig up the whole backyard like I used to be able to. Aging is frustrating, but I'm very thankful every day for my good health. This is on my long form. You might be over 60 RVer. Very thankful every day for my good health. Good for you. Dan Hardesty, I can relate. I had a stroke last year. I'm 62 now and officially retired. I hope to get back to where I was before the stroke. I'm not holding my breath. Sorry to hear that, Dan. And I said in the comments, I hope so too, Dan. I know that often the brain can do amazing things to compensate given some time. So we're going to hope that given some time, Dan's stroke symptoms will get better, and that can happen. Ken Gray says, the older I get, the more I say I'm slow, but I take a while. And I remark, they have always said that slow and steady wins the race. Let's see. I had the Chicken Ranch and Art Bell landmarks in Pahrump, and they asked what city and state. I told them Pahrump, Nevada. Naj has a on the you might be over 60 video. I think we're going to find quite a few comments on the over 60 video, and I'm looking at 49 minutes. This one could be a record breaker. Oh, that's not Naj. Where are you, Naj? There you are. My husband had open heart surgery a few years ago. When we planned trips, I needed to make sure there's a hospital within 30 minutes driving distance, and I make sure we visit the MD before we go to get his approval. Age and health conditions does make you look at things twice before you attempt it. I said, yes, the reasons I mentioned the medical flight insurance is very important. important having quartzsite in particular. If you think there's any chance you're going to have to get to emergency definitive care quickly, quartzsite is a real risk for you. Because what'll happen if you have a stroke or a heart attack, the ambulance will come out and they'll make the call, hey, you have the helicopter come. The helicopter's close. Helicopter will land, take you to Phoenix, and if you don't have this insurance, you can end up with an enormous bill. And the insurance is about $79 a year. There's more than one. So I'm not hawking the one I have. And this is the way I chose the one I have. If you look at the conditions, it says you need to check in particular areas to see if the provider there takes this insurance. So I checked Pahrump and I checked quartzsite. In both those places, take the insurance. So if something happens and they air flight me out of there, I'm not going to get a bill. How big can the bill be? Just wait. Michael's human. Dang, a perfect description of me. I have 3 different people with texts that I text each morning when I get up, and I text them each night before bed. If it goes 2 days without me contacting them, a call to the police for a wellness check will be initiated. Thanks for your videos. That's a great idea, Michael. If you're boondocking, you're by yourself, set that up. That's an easy one. Zigzag, my buddy. I have been staying in the desert for several winters. Last winter, I fell for the first time. Now it's the middle of the night, walking my dog, pulling on the leash, and I lost my horizon because it was pitch dark. Lucky I had a thick hoodie on and it cushioned the fall. Oh, and I never let go of the leash. I have heard a lot of people fall on the rocky desert floor, but it was my first at 64 years old. And it isn't easy walking on the quartzsite desert ground, something that isn't spoke of on YouTube often. Well, I said, Zig, I fell on my bike last year and I've gotten lost at night 50 yards from my camp. And he's right. You need good shoes. Hiking boots are the best. It's a rocky terrain in quartzsite. It's not sand. You think of the desert. It's not sand. There's sand there, but it's rocks. Big, all different size rocks. And talk about dark. If it's overcast and there's no moon and you're walking out in the desert, and he said he lost his horizon, I believe him. The other thing is, I said I got lost 100 yards from my camp at night. I was in my truck. Not like I was out there on foot without a flashlight. I was in my truck. And, at night, everything looks alike. And is that my rig? And, maybe what's the headlights are printing or highlighting a rig that is blocking my view of mine. I was 100 yards away. And I finally got frustrated enough where I did get a flashlight and got out of the truck and started walking around trying to find something that looked familiar, because driving, I was afraid I was just going to get further away. I found it. So, and people make the mistake of driving in and picking a campsite in the desert out there, and then driving off, and I'm going to return tonight, and they try to find their campsite at night and they can't find it. They literally cannot find it. I don't know how many times we've been sitting around a campfire and a vehicle will come by slowly, and they'll come out and they'll say, I'm lost. And sometimes it's, I don't know how to get back to the road or get out of here, or I've lost my campsite all the time. So I make, unless it's I've been in the same camp spot for years now, so there are trips I can make at night where I'm pretty confident, but I still can get lost doing that. So yeah. All right, we have FUD, F-U-D-D 6478. Great topic and reality for many of us. I'm also 65 and notice how things I used to have to not think about have become very important to me living this lifestyle. For me, it's all still very doable, but adding an extra amount of thinking through tasks that I need to do on a daily basis is now part of my life. Still loving it though. An excellent post. You can still do this, stuff is going to get, certain things get harder when we're over 60. But you know what gets easier? Finding the joy in life. That's what gets easier. That's what gets better. That's why people get, why aren't we all the young person think, why aren't these people all depressed with all these things happening? Because the thing that we're not talking about right now, despite all these pain in the ass, back, knee, neck, and fingers, we are able to find joy in our lives. That's a big deal. And I'll take those aches and pains and medical procedures and Medicare nightmares all day long. Judy. I have a Life Flight membership because so many times patients have to be airlifted to Reno or elsewhere from Bishop, California. One of my friends broke her hip in Salone. You think that's hard to do? That's the other thing I mentioned. It's hard. It's easier to break bones over 60. She had to be airlifted to Phoenix. If she hadn't had the insurance, good for her, the bill would have been, can I have a drum roll, please? $90,000. 90. Also, if you have anyone living in your household, they are covered with the service we have. It's $79. I'm almost positive that's what I pay per year. I'll add that because you have the insurance, you can't call the ambulance and say, I want to go by helicopter. It doesn't work that way. You don't get to make that decision. The providers make the decision. And you mean the firefighter makes a decision? No, the firefighter does an evaluation. They call the doctor at the hospital what they call their medical control. And the doctor listens to everything, maybe asks a few questions, and then says, no, this person needs to go to Phoenix. They need to be airlifted. The doctor makes the decision. Naj, great. I had a short on This May Change Your Life, and it's talking about my midlife career change. Great video. There's always a choice. Don't think you're stuck where you are. New career may be scary. It can also be a blessing. If you don't like your new choice, you can always go back to your previous job. And she doesn't mean the specific previous job, because sometimes they'll go, you want to come back? No. Previous profession. And sometimes previous job, you have somebody really understanding. And you know what? Take back. When I retired, the director said to me at my retirement party, you are welcome to change your mind and come back anytime. And the organization said, if you change your mind in the next 12 months, there's no rehiring. You're back in. We'll just put you back in the system. And we'll recalculate your pension, and you can go home again. So I take back what I said. On Dottie's homemade dog food short, Lisa Ross says, enjoy your dinner, Dottie. And the Robert Burns, I agree with the examples you discussed. I'm 73, and I feel 73. My balance and eyesight is not good. I can only tow my trailer for 4 hours and need to stop for the night. I make sure I let my family know where I am. I travel with the camper alone and also get ready to travel the day before so I can focus on towing and not set up. Me too. I have a plan to stop towing in the next 5 years and use my truck as a day camper. And I responded, we make adjustments and we keep going. And that's what this is all, that's what all this about. It's like, why would Robert make all these adjustments? And what adjustments did he make? He only 4 hours a day, and he stops for the night. That's it. Letting his family know where he is. He does pack up the night before, just like I do, so he can just focus on towing and not set up. Why would he go through all this? Because he's experiencing joy in his life doing it, so he's making the adjustments. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Terry. Hi, Rob. Everything you mentioned has happened to me. I'm 62. I swear when I turned 59, I woke up one day and everything was broken. Don't know how that happened. Before that, healthy as a horse. Funny things. One, the other day I spent 5 minutes looking for my glasses. I was actually wearing them. Two, as a 35-year anniversary gift to my wife, I gave us 6 magnifying glasses with LED lights. 2 for our nightstands in the house, 2 for our cars, and 2 for the nightstands in our RV. How romantic, but I swear, most necessary and practical things ever. We both laughed about it, and me too, and some of you. I've said, I've wandered around the glasses on my forehead like this going, where are my friggin' glasses? God damn, where? Oh! Should none of you have ever done that, right? So, okay, let's keep going here. I think we broke a record. It's over an hour. Ouch, Rob. This is from Robert Ballard. That you really hit home on the subject, but I can assure you that you are not the only one with these issues. At 71, I would have no idea of what you're experiencing is. We are sharp as a tack, except for the remote control for the TV I can't find. In the short time I got lost driving home in the dark, I'm just fine. I told them I got lost last year in Quartzsite, 100 yards from my camp. So I double said that on here. King for a day, on the St. James Hotel ghost video. This is anecdotal information I read in an article years ago. The bar area there today is not the same. There was one in the 1870s. In the 1880s, the first one was removed and a second bar added. I believe the current bar, which would be the third one, was added in the 30s or 40s. Supposedly the second bar was bought, moved to a barn house. Who knows? But the ceilings original ceilings are still there, and they still have the bullet holes, and I believe that. A user, generic username said, being a nomad is living the dream on the over 60 thing. Couldn't have said it better myself. King for a day on the Hidden Secret video. Again, a second comment. We visit the Enchanted Circle area about once a month. We generally arrive in Cimarron around noon, and the St. James is where we always had lunch. By the way, great Mexican. I love eating at the St. James too. Hope I get to again under new ownership. Of course, we always take a tour of the second floor and look into the rooms. The employees have always been super nice about letting us roam around the place. I do have a really creepy photo I took in that poker room hallway. When I show it to folks, the response is always, is that a ghost? It's actually my wife. The camera was out of focus and bright sunlight was coming in a window at the end of the hallway. I don't believe I could have taken a more convincing photo had I staged it. And our next trip will be the week after the supposedly closing. Yeah, they're closing on the 17th. 6 more days. Yep, Kate Kramer. Kate says, yep, you hit the nail on the head. I'm just a few months behind you. It seems about when I turned 60-ish that someone flipped a switch and I noticed changes like this overnight. Weird how that happens. And I'm going to congratulate me for doing the longest comment video in my history. 1 hour, 3 minutes. It's going to take all day to upload it. I'll see you tomorrow. Right, Dottie? You know, they say Dottie's become conditioned to this. She's not. Yeah, she's not buying she doesn't know. Dottie, do you want to go for a walk and get your breakfast? Do you want to go for a walk? All right. Boy, I'm going to have to go to extreme. There she goes. I was going to say, I threw her a treat and it wasn't close enough and she wasn't going to bother getting it. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.